gusto saludarlos. Soy Glenda Omaña, periodista internacional en Colby Negocios. Esta entrevista la vamos a hacer en inglés porque tenemos un invitado muy especial. Él es Duncan Wardle y fue vicepresidente del departamento creativo, adivinen qué, de Walt Disney. Let me ask you something before you keep going. That person, do you remember the name of that person that was the one who discovered what you did, and how that support made you who you are?
Support? He was a bully. Here's what I love. My first job was making coffees for the marketing department. And I looked,
and then your creativity job?
Well, so then I looked at advertising. Advertising got what they wanted because they paid for it. Promotions got half of what they wanted because they were giving holidays away. Publicity was the ability to have some audacious, outrageous idea with no money and go and make it happen. So I'll tell a story later today. I often hear people say, we don't have the resources. That's what you always hear, okay?
All the time.
Then you ask them who are the most creative people they've ever met, and they'll say, children. And then you say, oh, how much money have they got? I was asked to go to the Derby slum in Mumbai. This is the project of which I'm most proud. 6 years ago. The task was to create light where there was no electricity on zero budget. I thought, I haven't got a clue what I'm doing. Never been to India. I'll give it a go. So I was sitting in a cafe one day and I noticed the spotlight hit the plastic bottle that I was drinking out of, and it created a little ring on the table, a ring of light. And as I picked up the bottle, sure enough, the ring of light got bigger. I thought, well, hang on a minute. What if I was being curious like a child. I took the advertising label off the side of the bottle and the ring of light started to get bigger. And I thought, well, what if I take the lid off the bottle? Ring of light gets bigger. Then I was playing with the water level and thought, well, hang on, what if I just So I stood on a chair, and when the bottle got closer to the light source, I could get it up to about 3.5 or 4 feet of light. I thought, so the engineer who was with me, who actually knew what he was doing, he said, well, hang on a minute. Just put some chlorine in the top of the water, you'll magnify the light. So we did. We walked out into a hut like this, no windows, cut a hole in the ceiling, stuffed the bottle through it and lit the hut during daylight hours. So now this is the next part of this story. Whether or not you think you can or think you can't, you're probably right. Right? Make your pitch. They can say yes, they can say no, they can laugh, they can put the phone down. Who cares?
At least try.
So I phoned the CMO of Evian in Paris. I said, hey, you're about to trash the planet with 1 million empty bottles, plastic ones. He said, yeah, what's your point? I said, well, send them to me for free. This is the project I'm working on. We've got no money. By the way, take your brand off the side because we need the light. 6 weeks later, we lit 1 million huts during daylight hours with zero money and zero electricity.
Wow.
Just by being curious like a child, just by thinking differently.
How, for you, what does it mean to be in that magic world that impacts the people, the feelings, the emotions,
to create things.
The wishes, of course, the wishes of so many people. Have you think about it, or do you think about it?
No, you do. You see it.
Sometimes?
You see it in the letters. They never talk about the rides. They talk about the people. But equally, are you familiar with Finding Nemo, the movie?
Of course.
Okay, good. Okay.
There's only one problem with that. I found it.
The mother dies in the first 30 seconds of the film.
No, you know what? You know what? And tell me if you have, because I always dream of telling somebody that they have a mistake. Is the way they put the dentist.
Why? All dentists are like that. Why, are you married to a dentist?
My dad is a dentist. My sister is a dentist.
I hate dentists.
Exactly, that's why. So the image is like, be scared of the dentist.
Yeah,
and that is not good. It's not good.
Everybody
because then people will
dentists.
be more afraid. I don't agree.
Okay,
sorry.
So, no, you're
but
fine.
It's one of my favorite movies, by the way.
Oh, thank you. So back to your question.
Thank you. Why? What do you do with Nemo?
So
tell me everything.
We created an attraction called Turtle Talk with Crush. You walk into the park, and it looks like a bit of a movie theatre, but it's a slow pitch. And at the front is a giant, what looks like an aquarium full of fish. And then as you look, you thought, well, hang on a minute, that's not real, it's animated. So all the children get to come to sit at the front on the floor. All the parents sit behind them. Suddenly Crush comes out of nowhere and says, hey, you, the beige jacket and the silver watch and the orange blouse, what's your name? And this little girl, my name's Glenda. Hi, Glenda. And suddenly a child is talking to a turtle. So about 12 months after the opening of the attraction, we got a letter from a mother whose son was autistic. He hadn't spoken for 6 years. He had a 20-minute conversation with a turtle.
No.
That's when you know when you know you're doing the right thing.
Wow, that's a magic. It's more real.
Yeah.
It's more real. Is that your favorite, one of your favorite moments of your career?
Most heartwarming. The maddest one was we were opening Toy Story. And I thought, well, how do you get coverage for Toy Story? I thought, well, Buzz Lightyear, of course, he realized he couldn't fly, but his dream was to fly. Right? But when he realized he was a toy, he issued the immortal words, "To infinity and beyond," and he threw himself off the banisters. I said, well, what if we could make Buzz Lightyear's dream come true? Whether or not you think you can or think you can't, you're probably right. And people are like, how are you going to do that? I said, I'm going to send him into space. Of course, I hadn't talked to NASA about it at the time. So I went off to meet with NASA. And there were 23 people in the room, very serious people. And there was the big character at the end of the table. And he said, well, if we're going to take Buzz Lightyear into space, we're going to take him out on a spacewalk. I was like, oh my God, Buzz Lightyear's dream is going to come true. So we got a call from Johnson Space Center 6 months before launch. And they said, we need Buzz Lightyear here tomorrow. I was like, tomorrow? The launch isn't for 6 months. He says, we need 2 identical Buzz Lightyears here tomorrow. I was like, because? He said, well, we're going to take one Buzz Lightyear apart, molecule by molecule. I was like, because? He said, well, if we find a bubble inside the plastic the size of an atom, that could explode in the vacuum of space and potentially into an astronaut. I was like, I knew that. So at the time, I don't know if you recall, you couldn't find Buzz Lightyear because they had sold out. So I thought, well, don't say this deal's going down because Disney can't find Buzz Lightyear. So I had 37 cast members in Walmart, Kmart, Target trying to find. So we found one. I'm now desperate. I'm in my car trying to find the other Buzz Lightyear. This was 2004, before touchscreen technology. So I got a call, but you can't see who's calling. So I answered, and all I heard was, "To infinity and beyond." I was like, who is this? And it was my wife. I said, where'd you get it? She goes, oh, it's underneath James's bed. He's been collecting dust for about 5 years. Oh, get it over. So I wrote James on his foot, just as Andy has written his name on Woody's foot. And I sent the 2 Buzz Lightyears off to NASA. And I said, listen, don't destroy this one. This is a real little boy's Buzz Lightyear. 6 months later, we were invited to the launch. I was getting emotional. I was like, little boy's going into space. And then NASA was sweet enough to wait. I have the picture on my phone. They waited till they got over James's house in Central Florida from the International Space Station and took a picture of Buzz Lightyear directly over James's house.
Wow.
So that was fun.
Wow. What can you tell, because I'm sure there's many people that will love to be in my place talking to you, and their dream is to do what you have done, to work, and they are very creative. What is your advice so they can get into this world?
Walt Disney's, probably his most famous quote was, if you can dream it, you can do it.
What is your dream now?
I want to create a nationwide curriculum to help stop teachers killing creativity, curiosity, empathy, intuition, etc. So I have a book coming out next April. Because here's the thing, when you see books in a workplace, where do you see them? In the office. Where's the physical book? Where is it in the office?
The library desk,
Exactly. Is it anybody's hands? No, never. No. Why? Because we're busy people. We've got things to do, right? So people don't, and innovation is intimidating. Right, if you don't know much about it. I want to make innovation accessible, creativity tangible for people who don't like ambiguity or grey, but I want to make it fun. If you give people the tools to do the job, soldiers with guns are braver than soldiers without it, because you give them the tool. We hear the CEO, you must innovate, you must take risks, you must be brave, we must think differently. And all of the employees sit there going, great, how do we do it? We train our lawyers. They go a lot. We train the IT team. We train journalism. But we don't train people how to innovate. We just tell them to go do it. Well, that's useless. So I'm creating a toolkit that has a series of tools that are simple, powerful, and fun.
That's what you want to do. And you're doing it.
I am.
Duncan Wardle, thank you so much.
Lovely to meet you. Thanks for having me.
It's an honor, es un honor entrevistar a este gran personaje, este gran, de verdad que ha tenido un impacto sobre todo en el mundo del entretenimiento como ex vicepresidente creativo de Walt Disney. Thank you so much.
Just want to apologize to all the dentists out there.
Thank you for that.